All right, tonight I'm going to talk about one of the most misunderstood parts of the Torah or Old Testament that there's ever been. Now, this offends some people it doesn't. But I feel obligated to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in translating this from the original Hebrew into the English. And I'm going to be talking on the Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Okay, first of all, Adam in Hebrew means man that shows blood in the face, that blushes, fair-complected, white, handsome. Adam and Eve in the garden were naked, and naked in Hebrew means shrewd, which means bad or evil, and they didn't know it. So they were like children. They didn't feel any shame. Now the serpent was the evilest or the shrewdest of all the wild beasts. This shows the serpent was a wild beast or animal, according to God, or Hashem. Now the tree of knowledge of good and bad, God or Hashem commanded Adam and Eve not to eat of its fruit or touch it. Now listen real close so you can catch the meaning of this. Serpent in Hebrew not only means snake, but in a sense it means twisted or augury, crooked, witchcraft, false religion, in other words. Now the tree in Hebrew can mean tree, but it can also mean backbone, showing that the serpent in the Bible was a vertebrate. In other places in the Bible or the Torah, a tree is talking about people, and plenty of other places in there, showing that the serpent or wild beast was a person with a false doctrine, which was the tree of knowledge of good and bad, or good and evil, however you want to say it. God told Adam and Eve not to eat or touch this tree or person, or they would die. Eat in Hebrew can mean eat, but it also means to devour or burn up, as in lust, for example. Touch in Hebrew means spiritually and physically seduced, duped, tricked, or to have sexual intercourse with, which shows a little bit more went on in the garden than meets the eye at first. But if you know the original Hebrew, it's pretty plain. Hashem says in the Bible, or God says in the Bible, that He gave false gods or pagan gods, false religions, to all the other nations, to the exception of Israel. He gave a true religion, or true doctrine, the true way. All the nations except Adam, which was man, which, whether you like it or not, it was ready complected, or the man who blushes or shows blood in the face. The original sin, therefore, interpreted from the original Hebrew, could have been sex with the serpent, which produced Cain. It was more or less the first interracial intercourse or sex that resulted in pregnancy, because it says, because Eve got pregnant with Cain, and it says Cain was, in other places in the Bible, that it was, no, it speaks in some places, I'm not sure, of the serpent's child, or that the false doctrine. And then Eve went back and had intercourse with Abel, because the verse in the original Hebrew where it says she bore Cain, and then sometime later she bore Abel, But that, in the original Hebrew, translates as she continued in childbirth. So that they were twins, but by two different fathers. Most people don't know that that can happen, but it sure does. It happens all the time. So what, and a lot of people don't understand that on interracial marriage, that the father of the child, the mother of the child, has 10% of the father's DNA left in her after the birth of the child. So what this effectively does is change the race of the mother to partly to 10% of another race, if there's two races and different races involved. Let's see if I can put this. So Eve effectively changed her race. And she also mixed her religion in the process because she was duped into a religion that was not, if you don't want to call it religion, you can say doctrine of the way that was original, to a false one, because it was said that because the serpent said that you would not die. What they both originally did, both committed the sin of bestiality, which is punishable in the Bible with a death sentence. This is a really hard doctrine to understand because people try to put it as being racial, or if they call that racial, they have to call the entire Torah or the entire Bible racial. I mean, some people may believe that way. That's fine. I mean, it's not exactly fine, but if that's the way you believe, there's nothing I can do or anybody else can do to change it until you make up your mind to change it yourself. But this is how it comes out in the original Hebrew. And for thousands of years, people haven't understood this. That, well, for instance, God made a bluebird and a redbird. What would happen if a bluebird and a redbird mated together? You would have maybe a beige bird. This actually, most people say, well, that's not diversity, but that actually stifles diversity, because diversity is the redbird and the bluebird. When you mix them both together, you only have one type of bird. So that actually makes things less diverse. Okay, that's all I have to say today. Thank you very much.